Good morning, Devon.
Good morning.
Are we sponsored by Starbucks
We
today?
are.
So just so everyone know, we decided to film in the morning today, which is not what we usually do. So this could either go two ways, and we're about to find out. Today, we're going to be speaking about something that we've gotten a lot of questions on, and also it's something that we've sort of touched on in every episode we've done, but we thought we'd dedicate a whole 30 minutes to it, which is love. Love.
Love.
Devon is an expert in it.
I'm the least expert. But do you want to kick it off?
Sure. A lot of you had questions about my sexuality because obviously I bring it up a lot, and obviously Devon is straight, so there's nothing she can kind of weigh in there on her straightness. So we're going to be answering this a little differently, whereby I think I should take you guys through my sexuality journey, and Devon can kind of weigh in on her craziest love stories in her heterosexuality. Yeah, let's do this.
Okay. So it's funny, when I was thinking about it, I don't really have any crazy love stories.
Yes, you do.
I think what I have is like being hurt so badly in love that I felt like I was going to die. So like I would call that crazy because it's like stories that like you would never believe because they're like so insane.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say like anybody that hurt me that bad was like love. Because I don't think you could love someone and treat them like that.
Yeah, which begs the question, what is love? I think for me, growing up, I would always be, as you know, very, very infatuated with people.
Mm-hmm.
And now finally having had like, I'm in a very secure marriage and relationship. And even the relationship before that, I'd say was problematic, but also very secure.
Mm-hmm.
And only recently, in recent years, I think in my 20s, have I found what love is, which is just a choice. You know, it's not really the butterflies and the fireworks. It's just secure, like, adoration and a choice that you make every day to commit yourself to someone, which has also shown me that is hard, and it doesn't always feel like you think it should, because it's a commitment that you make every day, and it's not easy. And I was just talking to my mum about it recently. We were kind of talking about our relationships, like her marriage with my dad, and then like me with my wife. And I said to her, I was like, I get very conflicted because in media, some people say it should be easy. Like, you'll know you're with the right person when it's easy. And I'm like, it's really not easy. And so I'm like, should it feel easy, or it's actually like the reality is hard? And she was like, it's hard.
Yeah.
But it's also worth it, you know, when you are with the right person.
I think for me, like, I have always dated somebody that like really drives my nervous system, where I feel like I thought it was love because I get so obsessed. And I think like in all of my relationships, there's always like a really common thread where like you like somebody so much that like I would call my girlfriends and be like, oh my God, I met this guy and like it's going so amazing. And then everyone's like, oh my gosh, that's great. And like, I'm so happy for you. And then it's like the energy changes. Like I feel like I'm really, really perceptive and like intuitive if something's off.
Mm-hmm.
And then I call a friend and be like, well, this is off, and like talk about it for 40 minutes. And it's like, then you hang out with them and everything's good. And so then you're like, oh my gosh, like it's great. So I think like for me, I've noticed like a common thread line with my dating and love has always been chaos.
Mm-hmm.
And like I thrive with like a lot going on, I'd say. So I think like I've noticed that like the highs and lows really have fueled me. And I think it's really common that when there are highs and lows and like peaks, when it's really good, like for me, it's like I compare it to like when I go to the Real, I get like a feeling of like being on drugs.
Love is
because
shopping.
I'm just like, oh my God, like obsessed. Like it's sick.
Yeah.
And when I've been so in love like that, I feel so obsessed that I feel sick to my stomach in like a good way and a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like when we say craziest love stories, it's like I feel like when I fall hard for someone, I fall so hard that like it makes me crazy.
Yes.
But with the person I'm seeing right now, like I feel like zero crazy and
Secure.
so calm.
Yeah.
So I think for me, it's like learning that, to your point and what you're talking about with your mom, love is always going to be hard because it's like you're basically two people coexisting together.
Insane.
But I think for me, with who I'm seeing right now, it's like the healthiest relationship because I don't think about him in an obsessive way. I think about him in a way of like, you make me feel so happy and grounded. I don't feel like this weird real euphoria.
Yeah, and I think that's the difference between love and, you know, infatuation. I think the infatuation is us getting obsessed with people we often can't have. It's the chase, it's obsession, it's dopamine hits. And I think love is just a choice you make to be with someone that you have, you know, shared values with, and you just choose to commit to them every day, and things feel right and things feel good. I will still say though, like, you know, having been in long-term relationships, I finally, as I said, realized that it doesn't mean it's easy. Like, you still have to put in work. You still have to do the couples therapy. You still have to your point, coexist with someone, which is very fucking unnatural. So I would like to dispel the myth that, like, it's easy. Love is fucking hard.
Yeah. I, like, was kind of dying because, like, a week ago, I was at Erewhon. And I was shopping, and this girl came up to me in the aisle, and she's like, hey, like, do I know you? And I was like, no. And she's like, you look so familiar. And I was like, you don't look familiar to me at all. And she's like, oh, remember, like, I was your trainer? And I had, like, a memory where, like, you know, where your mind's, like, moving so fast. And I was like, who is this person? Who is this person? And it was when I was with my ex and I caught him cheating for like the 10th time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like this kind of crazy story. And I was thinking about it when we were talking about filming this episode, because after we did the cheating episode, I got a lot of questions. And it was like, what was the craziest time you caught your ex cheating on you, but you still stayed? And this story, just to like make it quick, was my ex had gone to Dubai. And he was like, oh, you should use this trainer. And I hired the trainer. And then like midway in the session, she asked me, she's like, how do you know him? And before I could answer and be like, oh, it's my boyfriend, she's like, he's the biggest creep. Like, he has these like hookers at his place, and they're like coming in and out while I'm training him. And I was like, what the fucking fuck?
I remember you telling me this, and I was like, they're probably not hooker. We were so blind.
No way.
We were like, they're just house clean. Like, we were like, they're just maids.
Yeah, we were like, they're neighbors, they're friends. And the girl was like so rattled, and she's like, I'd never train him again. He's such a creep. I felt so uncomfortable, and my roommate was home. And she's like, when I looked at you, like, you look like you're gonna pass out. Like, my face went ghost, like white. So she ends up leaving, and then I call my ex out, and he's like, well, they're my cleaners, and, you know, they wear Lululemon. Like, he was, like, very prescriptive, and it just put me in the weirdest situation, and I had reached out to her, and she didn't respond. So long story short, it was, like, this full circle moment where, like, I stayed with him after this, like, crazy story. And I remember when I was calling all my friends, they were just like, Devon, there's no way he had like strippers or hookers at his place in the middle of the day, like while he's getting a trainer. Like, this is crazy.
Because this is the thing about narcissists and abusive partners is that not only do they manipulate their partner, but the friends around you, like, friends will always be honest with you. But like, we're also under the spell. Like, we're also blind, because I think the whole situation was so fucking insane that we were like, there is no way this man is treating Devon the way that he is. And we knew him, and it's like, oh no, like, we were under that spell too.
Right.
So I think the crazy thing about narcissists and abusive people is that they're not just gonna, you know, manipulate the partner. They're gonna manipulate everyone around them.
100%. And like, when I got in my car and drove away, I was like, wow, I was really fucking crazy in love with this person to like have this wild story happen to me. and like replay it 100 times in my head, tell all my friends, and still stay with this person, even though in my gut I was like, this shit is crazy. But I think it's just like when you're in love with someone, you have these like really wild blinders on.
Yeah.
And like it made me feel just like when I got in my car and drove away, I was like, wow, I've had so much growth, where like I feel so like naive, you know? And that wasn't that long ago.
Well, and the thing about love too is that when you're with someone, I always kind of laugh seeing TikToks of people like, how do you know he likes you? And it's like, you'll know. Like,
You'll know.
When you're with someone that is reciprocal and loves you, you know.
Yeah.
There is never a, do I text him? Or like, do I wait? There is no games.
Easiest.
It's like, if someone's in love with you or they want to be with you or they like you, you'll know.
Yes.
And there is no question about it. Like, you will never be confused. Sure, their love language and the way they show up for you might be different than what you're used to. And sometimes you also have to check that with yourself of like your expectations and people showing up differently and, you know, still making the connection that, oh, actually they do love me, but maybe they don't have to text me like all day, every day with like cute gifts for me to feel that. Maybe they are showing up in a different way. But you'll never be confused. There'll always be signs that they like you.
Yeah.
And also for me, I'm in this interesting space where, having been in long-term relationships with both men and women, I will say that I think having been with men, I do feel like often there is more games. I'm like, I have to get into their male brain and think about what they're thinking, and like seeing myself as a woman, which is obviously different to them. Whereas I think being with women, you kind of already have that level set of like, well, we're the same, we think the same, we're both women, we're both crazy, like, so you kind of have to see them as like okay, what is it about them that's different?
I think it's like also like when you were just like talking about your sexuality, like I have always just been so boy crazy. I remember like being a little girl and just like being such a flirt.
I loved boys.
And just like so obsessed with boys, and like I just have always been boy crazy. Like it's so funny. I don't remember a time in my life where like I wasn't so boy crazy.
I was boy crazy in the sense that I was definitely like blowjob girl at school. Like I would
love.
So I talk about this with my friends and they're shocked, but I had my first tongue kiss when I was 8.
That is
and
crazy.
He was 12. Brazil for you.
Wow.
But, so I grew up very quick, but then I did wait to lose my V plates to a man when I was 18, which I think is actually quite late considering I was doing everything at like 8 and then 12 and then 13. But my first time with a woman was at 16, so I kind of count that as my virginity. So if someone asks me when was your virginity, I think about that time with a woman at 16. And then, funny story, when I lost my virginity at 18 to a boy, like I don't know what boy it was. Basically, I went like I don't know who it was.
I have okay.
So this is so embarrassing, but this is what happened. I went on vacation with my friends, and that whole week is a blur because we were drunk in Greece. It was when we were 18, like after we finished school. It's called leavers in the UK. And I remember getting with like 3 guys at the time, and I slept with them, but I don't know which one I slept with first. So I don't know which one was my virginity, which again just shows how unmemorable it was. And also how like it didn't matter to me.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, this clearly doesn't matter.
You were not obsessed with any of them.
I actually like don't know who I lost my boy virginity
That
to.
is so funny. Like, do you keep like it on your phone? Yeah. I like do a rating, so it's like everyone I've slept with, then I do like a little note,
and then I have the flag for their country. So
I love that.
My wife also said like she obviously knows about the list, and she's like, that is so fucking weird that even as a married woman you have a list. And I'm like, but this is what happens.
Archives.
I fucking forget. I forgot my virginity. Like I need a list. I need to be organized.
Yeah.
And I will say, I think I've slept with more. Oh, let me show the list. I'm like, have I slept with more girls than guys?
I just like make a note. So like then when I have been single, if the person circles back, I can be like, wait, do I have a crush on them? like, was the sex good? Like, I just like refer to the notes.
Yeah, I have like
You know?
ratings.
Yeah.
It's a cross if they were bad, and it's a heart if they were good.
Love.
And then we've got the flag from where they're from. I will say I have slept with more girls than guys. I just don't like. For me, sex is such a intimate thing. Like I've never been one to have one night stands. I've never been the girl that can just like go have sex with someone and then be done. Like everyone I've ever slept with I have liked. I've also never slept with friends. Like it's always people I fancy. So I don't have the world's biggest body count, but like I have slept with enough people that like if I never slept with someone again, like, which I hope I won't because I'm happily married, I'd be fine with that. But yeah, I think with growing up, I liked boys for sure, liked doing things with boys, but I never was in love with boys. And I developed love feelings for women, which then showed me I was fucking gay. But I could still do stuff with guys, and I think I didn't realize that made me bisexual. I know this sounds so dumb, but I just thought I was gay and like was happy to do things with guys. I didn't really believe in bisexuality whatsoever. I did the whole coming out tour to my parents when I was 18 because I had a girlfriend at that time, and they were like, "Oh, you might just be bisexual," and I was like, "There is no way. Like you guys are just fucking homophobic. You don't want to accept me." They were like, "I don't know, we know you and we just feel like you might be bi," and I'm like, this is what oppression looks like. So then I was 20 after the relationship with a girl, and sure enough I fell in love with a guy, and that showed me, oh, bisexuality does exist. And it was very confusing for me because just like a straight person finding out they're gay later in life, I was a gay person finding out I wasn't gay at 20, and I was so upset. I was like, this can't be happening to me. Like, I can't be in love with a boy. This sucks.
I can't imagine, like, I think for me, sometimes I feel so jaded in the sense that, like, I do have so many friends that are gay. So, like, I don't even think like how it could be hard sometimes because I'm just like, you seem so happy, and like I'm so like non-judgmental with anything like sexually, but I can't imagine like how confusing that probably would be.
It was a little confusing, but I will say I am so fucking privileged and lucky that I've never had any issues with my sexuality. Like no one's ever been mean to me, no one's ever been homophobic. Obviously I'm privileged in that I can pass. Like if I walk out the door, no one's like, lesbian. But like this is actually kind of sad.
If someone chants lesbian at you.
But the one time where I felt like an inch of kind of, you know, struggle with my sexuality was actually when I came out to my parents, and for a minute they were just a bit overwhelmed and not okay with it. And I remember verbatim they said to me, "We just don't want you to ever struggle in life." And I was like, I'm not. And if I think back, the one time I did struggle in life was that moment to them coming out. So it's just ironic that the one thing they didn't want me to have was actually the one moment when I came out to them. But actually, like, it was a very quick moment where they weren't, like, I think they were just surprised and overwhelmed, but like they were ultimately like really okay with it after about like 12 hours. And they've been so good with like my partners. But also I'm like, I always say this to them where I'm like, I don't think that deserves a well done sticker. I think you're just being a decent human being. So I'm also very cognizant about not applauding them, because I'm like, that this, you being nice to a gay person and accepting me doesn't deserve an applause, because that's just baseline decency. You know what I mean? And I think people are often like so quick to be like, oh, you know, they're so good about me being gay, or they're so accepting. It's like, like, so they should. Like, that's just basic human decency. So I think I'm also like, just kind of, I expect them to be okay with it. So I don't, obviously I feel very privileged and lucky that they are, but I'm also not like, you know, well done, guys.
It's just like, I don't know if this makes sense, but like, you know how sometimes if you draw a lot of attention to like a chink in something, like if you don't make it a huge deal, then it's like you don't really like bring it into the room. But if you like kind of like hyper fixate on it or obsess, it like can sometimes feel bigger than it is.
I love that you brought this up, because here's the thing, and it's one thing I wanted to talk about in this episode, where it's like, with my sexuality, it's never been a part of, obviously it's a huge facet of my identity, but it's not the first thing I think about when I think of me. It's like, I'm daughter, I'm Brazilian, I am sister, I am this. I'm not like, oh, I'm gay. Like, you know, obviously it's a huge part of my life, but I don't make it my brand. I definitely don't make it my brand.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of people that I know who have maybe found their homosexuality a little later in that life, that have made it their whole brand. And I'm just like, I get the ick, because I'm like, your sexuality shouldn't be your brand. It's just something that you do behind closed doors with the people you like. But I also get that maybe they're doing that because we still need sort of, you know, a lot of people need a lot of support, and we still need acceptance. And I've just been lucky that I haven't run through these issues. To that point, like, I have lesbian friends for sure, lesbian girls with, you know, married with girlfriends, but I've never even been part of the lesbian groups. You know, there's always like the lesbian friendship group. I've never been in them. I know of lesbian friendship groups, and I'm like, oh, that must be nice.
Well, you're always like connecting also. Like friends to have their lesbian friend groups.
And I'm like, well, that's the thing. It's very incestuous. Like, all the lesbian friendship groups have all dated each other, and I'm just not like that. Like, and that's the other thing, is the lesbian friendship groups that I have known, and often they are
they very cliquey?
Yeah, and actually, when I was at university, I played soccer. And they kind of would bully me because I was not what you expect a soccer player to be, where I was really girly. I'd wear heels to the nights out, and I'd do musical theatre, and I think it wasn't what they've ever seen before. And they didn't really accept me as well. Like, I actually got bullied at 18, which is fucking insane.
It's crazy.
But I mean, again, I didn't really care. And I was one of the first girls at that team at university to come out publicly with a girlfriend who was also on the team. And the girls would bully us so much. Like, they just didn't like that we were gay. They didn't like that I was girly. They just didn't like the mold of a lesbian girl that they saw, this version of it. And it's so funny because at the time it was very unclear everyone's sexuality. I was the only girl that was like publicly like, yeah, I love girls, I'm girly, blah, blah, blah. And now later in life, when they're all like in their early 30s, they're all fucking gay with girlfriends and marriages to women. And I'm like, so interesting that you guys gave me such a hard time, and you all just became fucking lesbians anyway. And they just couldn't understand that, you know, people come in all forms. And
isn't that like the root of bullying though, where it's like usually you amplifying your own insecurity onto somebody else?
And it's crazy that, like, because now I look back and I'm like, oh, that was definitely bullying, but can you even call it bullying at 18 when you're an adult? And I didn't get affected by it, you know. I wasn't crying in my sleep. Like, I was just like, oh, they're weird. Like, why the fuck would they say these mean things or do these mean things towards me and my ex-girlfriend? But now they're all fucking gay. And I'm like, of course you are. Of course you are.
One thing I was thinking, like, when you're kind of saying that, just like, sometimes I feel like when I've had younger like girlfriends reach out to me for advice, like when they're in love, it can sometimes feel like bullying. Like, it's this weird like push and pull with the person that you're in love with, and it's like you almost like bully yourself, where you're just like, choose me, or like you like become very pick me. And like, it's funny because like when I reflect back on a lot of people that I've like thought I was in love with, like, I'm like, ew.
I think you're just like, under a spell though. Like, you put them on a pedestal. And I think one of the reasons that we both are very close friends is that we have loved people in the same way, where it's very obsessive, very unhealthy. You know, it's an infatuation that makes no fucking sense. We're like blind. But at the same time, and I don't know what you think, and maybe you don't agree with me, if I could write my eulogy today, like if I died and someone like read my eulogy, I would want the best thing for me to be remembered is how hard I loved. Because although it was psycho, I feel quite blessed that I've had those feelings, and I know what it's like to be so crazy, like in love and infatuated with someone. And like I'm not so certain everyone feels this way. I'm like, which is a blessing and a curse. Obviously, it's crazy for us to have done the things we have done towards it, and like actually insane. And maybe one day we can write a book.
Yeah.
But also it's like, how cool that we have felt that way.
When I think about the person I put on the pedestal, I don't even baby girl. Like, I think about it a lot, and I'm just like, you know what?
Oh, I was actually not thinking of baby girl. I was thinking about the other one.
Which other one?
The one before baby girl.
Okay.
Both.
Yeah.
Questionable.
when I think about baby girl and like being in Newport and like bawling, crying on the couch,
and
like
I was
that
like,
time, and you're just like, Devon, like, let's lay it out. But when you pedestal someone, it is so hard to like 360 or like 180 come out of your body and look 69. At it. Yeah. Because that's all I'm thinking about. And I'm like, the depths that I went to show up for that person and like give them so much love and so much patience and like be so kind and sweet to them, I don't actually regret that at all.
No.
And I remember, and I was like super frustrated once I called you and I was like, I'm just done. Like, I need to just be like an ice queen and just be cold and just like be a bitch. Cause like all these other girls are being bitches and like they all have boyfriends. And you're just like, okay, if that's what you want to do. But you were like, I think one of the best qualities about you is that you are like that. And then I really thought about it and I was like, you know what? I'd rather get burned until I find my person, but like actually show up and give the people that burned me so much love.
True.
Because it's just like, that's like innately me.
That's the thing. It's like, I don't think the error is you being that loving and you doing crazy things for that person. Yeah. I think for the right person, that is amazing. It's like with my wife, when I met her, I mean, the story is rather long, so I won't go into it. But when I met her and I fell in love with her within like a day, and then we connected within 3 days, and then I decided I wanted her, came to LA. She was living in Hawaii. I shipped my car and got a studio down the road from her within 5 days of knowing her.
But I would do the same. It's just like, yeah.
But thankfully, you know, the story had always been I had done shit like that for, well, not to that level, but similar shit for people that would never reciprocate that. And the moment I did it for her and then she reciprocated it, it was like, oh, this is how it's supposed to feel. And then it actually doesn't make you feel like crazy. And I think rejection fuels the craziness. There has got to be a lot of science behind unrequited love, which I think we can get a therapist in here at one point to talk about, that just makes you more crazy as time goes on.
Yeah. It is wild too. Like, I was thinking about like when I was super young, I studied abroad and I met this guy and he's like, I was so into him and I just was like, he has to be my person. Like, I just know it. And then when he got engaged, I remember thinking like, oh, well, like, it's not gonna actually last. Like, he's still my person. And I'm like, oh my God, like, get your pulse checked. You know? But I think it's like sometimes you do just like hold on to things. I'm also like, I've talked about this, like deeply nostalgic. So I always feel like, well, we had this like relationship. Like, how could you just like leave it? And like, I really learned, I'd say, in the last year that like how we've talked about our life in chapters. So now when I have a relationship end, instead of like kind of looking back and like thinking about like, I wish I could make this work and fighting for it, I just am like, okay, that was like a journey that's going to lead me to my next one, to my next one, to my next one, until I find my person.
I think of that too. Like, I think relationships are chapters, and I think every relationship I have has been successful. And I wouldn't say they were not successful because I didn't end up with a person. I think it's like going to different schools. Like, you're in a time of your life and you have a partner for that time of your life, and then you might go somewhere, like be somewhere different, and then you have someone different. Ultimately though, it is nice to find someone that can sustain the growth.
Right.
And I truly think, for me, and again, I'm just speaking for myself, I wasn't ready to find that person that could sustain the growth because I wasn't done growing. Yeah. I don't know how people do it when they've been with someone since they were 4. Like, my parents have been together since they were 14. It is wild to me and very rare for you to have someone that has sustained every chapter of your life and that has grown with you in the same way. And I think both are okay. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think there's a right or a wrong. I think for me, it just would never be me to like
Yeah.
sustain one person throughout all my different chapters.
Yeah.
But I'm just the luckiest gal in that all my exes are fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, I love them. They are so nice.
That's a testament to you, though, too. I think, like, being secure in when you, like, choose a partner. Because I think times that I've chosen the wrong partner, I've probably been insecure.
But here's the thing. I've been so in love with the wrong people, too. But they just never reciprocated it.
Yeah.
So then if I think had they actually reciprocated it, that's when things would have been bad. Because I would have gotten into relationships with people that are no good and not for me.
Yeah.
It just happens that in terms of actual relationships, it's been the really nice people that have reciprocated it. And I just like haven't been through trauma or like I've just had healthy relationships, which is crazy, with both men and women.
Yeah. You know the Lana Del Rey song, and she's like, "You fucked me so good, I almost said I love you."
I actually said that to my wife within like day 2.
Really?
And we
I love
were
you?
sleeping together. Yes.
Yeah. I have accidentally said I love you like a couple of times, but I didn't love the person. But I was just like giving
But
them
of
a
course,
BJ, and then I
yeah.
like flip my hair up to like
I
be
love you.
hot, and then I'm like, I love you, and then I'm like, fuck,
I've done that.
and you're like, no.
And I always joke with my wife. I'm like, it's a good thing I said I love you.
Yeah.
And you did turn out to be my love, because you can't then say I was wrong, because I did. But it is, we're just crazy. I think both of us.
With like one of my exes, like I feel like our chemistry like sexually was so good, and we had like the craziest sex, and so then I think that also made me like crazy in love, because we'd like do so much shit.
But I think that's the issue as well. Sometimes a physical connection and physical chemistry does not equate to a healthy relationship. And that's why so many people stay in bad situations, because they're like, oh, but when we do this, it's so good. And then they ignore all the bad times.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true.
I would say that, you know, there's so many topics within this that I'd like to explore further with you. Attachment styles, unrequited love, abuse. But I think we need...
I hate that we laugh when you say
we're
abuse.
like, we're like, abuse.
I just have to laugh because I'm like, I don't want to be a victim, but I am.
And I'm like abused by proxy. Where like I've had so many friends in bad situations, and I'm just like, I don't know, dude, because I do feel like it's the blind leading the blind, where like if I could have gone back and given you different advice, I would have. But I was also under like a spell of these people. I'm like, oh, they're so nice. Like, especially because I knew them very well. It's like, oh no, he's great. Like, what?
Like how?
Yeah. So I would have definitely saved you, but I just was in the same fucking place as you.
It's okay, but we'll never get back there again.
No, we won't. I think now we're wiser and older and bolder. I do have a question for you.
Tell me.
Now that you are seeing someone who is clearly like more normal, what would you say, like, that you realize with in terms of love? I know obviously we just like talked about how, you know, the crazy love is unhealthy, but were you worried that this is so secure and like not boring but just so normal that you were like, oh, like what the fuck is this?
It's so funny because so many people have asked me that. Like, well, do you think it's going to be boring? Like, do you think you're going to get bored?
And I don't think it is. I'm just saying, like, because when I have fallen into secure love and I start to get bored, now I have to tell myself, no, but this is what it's actually meant to be like. Like, I have to have a conversation with myself, be like, Yasmin, this is it. Yeah. This is love. It's not the fucking dopamine.
Roller coaster.
Yes.
So what I know is I have felt so low with all of the other situations and like felt so depressed that it has like really affected my mental health in the past. So being in something so like safe and secure and loving that I'm in now, and like receiving so much like love that feels not fleeting. So like an example is like, I know every day when I wake up, like he's gonna try his best to like be the best partner for me. Like it's not like based off of, oh, if we have plans or if he's in the mood or like if I looked hot or we had sex. Like it's just actually consistent.
It's unconditional rather than conditional.
I just want to like show up for him and like give him the same. So to me it's like I'm so happy and I feel like so lucky that I don't want to like screw anything up. So no, I don't feel like I would get bored of it, or it would be like pushing me into like wanting to like go rogue.
Yeah, that's good. And I think that's work you have to do though, because at time, like, you know, as the years go by, you know, it's not the honeymoon phase anymore, and then hardships come, and then the spark goes. And with our personality type, you are always going to have this conversation with yourself of like, no, like, this is what it's supposed to be, like, this is what love is. It's the secureness, it's the unconditional love, it's the commitment, it's the choice of choosing someone. And as someone who, you know, like, is now probably past the honeymoon phase, past me would have gone rogue and been like, fuck this, it's not exciting anymore. That means I don't like them. That's not it. Like, I literally tell myself, like, this is it. Like, this is what it is.
Well, I can't wait to report back next year and be like, I'm still so calm. I'm so zen.
We'll see about that.
But also, I'm like, I feel like there's like so many Easter eggs about me that I haven't shown him yet. Like, just like little fun things. So I'm like,
but that's also the beauty of a relationship. Like, I still am finding things out about my wife, and she's still finding things. Like, the other day, I can't remember what it was that I said, and she was like, I have never known this about you. And I was like,
that's fun.
Surprise!
Yeah, wait, I love that though.
Yeah, like, I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was something to do with music or food or something. And she was like,
that's fun.
That is so surprising. She's like, I never knew this. And I'm like,
gorgeous.
Just keeping it exciting. I'm like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
I love that. Okay, so my question for you. I think, like, for me, one of the things that I just think is like so, like, it's the word admirable is not right, but it's like, I think you show up so well just as yourself, and it's like such a good role model for a lot of women, because I think we're all so scared to like be ourselves because we're afraid of being judged. And I think you always show up as yourself, which is like what makes you so lovable. But like, with your sexuality, do you feel like, you know, there could ever be a time, and I know that you're married, but like, do you think like 10 years down the road, like, you would meet a man and be like, okay, like, this could, I don't know, like, is that a thought? Or
I talk about this all the time. This is one of the hard things about bisexuality that I have found in myself, where with being bisexual, it's like, if you're dating a man, like, I don't need another man. I've got my man. But what I do need or miss is women, which is essentially what happened. Yeah. And then in being with a woman, like, there are obviously times where I'm like, like, that D, like, you know.
And do you think you just miss the sexual part of the dick?
Yeah, like, I don't miss a relationship with a man, which is why I've now, like, I've treated this so scientifically, where it's like,
I'm like, you can have my boyfriend.
Like, is that what you thought about? Like, oh, we'll share. Thank you, Devon. If you ever want to try it out with a girl, like, you have me or my wife. No, I'm joking.
I'm like, yes, I don't want you to hurt your relationship. Use my boyfriend.
Thanks. What was it? Where was I? So I think it's like, I've treated this so scientifically, where I've figured out that it's healthier for me to be in a relationship with a woman, because I prefer a relationship with women, and miss men, the physical stuff, because I don't miss like relating to men. I don't miss like loving men, because I don't think I've ever loved men the same way that I've loved women. Whereas when I've been in relationship with men, I miss the physicalness with women. I miss women, like loving women. I miss like the day-to-day with women. So I've just treated it very scientifically, where it's like, no, I know what it's like on the other side. And I think this is it for me. I prefer being in a relationship with a woman. And then like, if, you know, if I ever miss the physical stuff, that's easier to sort out than actually like emotional feelings towards someone else. Yeah. But I mean, it's a struggle out here, guys. It's a struggle out here. Like, the world is your oyster, and you don't know which oysters to pick.
Yeah, it's true though. I always just feel like, you know what? My advice to anyone is like, fall deep in love, get your heart fucking broken. Think you're gonna die. You'll get out of it. Ride the dick. Get eaten out.
Fuck bitches, get money. That is the one thing. If like anyone ever asks me advice about love, the one thing I would say is like, there is always going to be someone to love. So even if you think you have the love of your life and they die, or you break up, or you get divorced, it will feel like death, and it will feel like the worst thing on earth. But there will always be someone to love afterward. Like, you see, it's this
Yeah.
tale as old as time.
Yeah.
You see it all the fucking time. Like,
Mhm.
human connection is the one thing that can't be replaced, and you'll
Yeah.
always find someone to love.
Yeah. And I'll just always love you.
Are you gay?
And I will always love you.
Okay, I think we should wrap this up. But to be continued, I think.
Yeah.
I think there is so much we haven't gone into, and I think we need to get professionals in here and give out the advice and the expertise that I think we have, but we can't quite eloquently
Yeah.
offer.
Agreed.
Okay.
I love you.
Stay in love, everyone. Bye.